Alright, answering a question of one of you guys, a subscriber, that asks me, a lot of modern trap hip-hop production gets its characteristic sounds by throwing a soft clipper on the mix bus to get that distorted, overdriven sound. Obviously, for a mix engineer, it's preferable to have the stems of the beat that is not peaking at 0 dB. But the question is, how should a beatmaker prepare a beat that is already soft clipped for mixing? Should they let the mix engineer redo the soft clipping effect afterward and export the unprocessed stems? Should they export the stems with the mix bus processing effect applied? This is something I see a lot being discussed online. Well, I have few videos explaining this. The whole you can't master a beat, and the fact that it's not ideal to mix vocals on top of a pre-mixed beat, even less mastered beat. But it's true that now a lot of hip-hop and trap songs have that very debatable, if you ask me, distorted sound on it. And I think we have to go back to how the whole aesthetic, so to speak, started, which 99% is because a lot of producers, so to speak, beat makers, were not really aware of gain staging. This, coupled with the dreaded and absolutely criminal default template that I think FL Studio still has, generated this kind of sound. People were starting their song, levels were too hot, hitting the limiter and then hitting it more and more and more and more. And at the end of the song, it sounded like that. They were used to that sound, and that's how songs started to get out. A few artists got popular and that became an aesthetic, and now people want it. To answer your question, yes, absolutely. If the producer or the artist are after that kind of sound and they plan on sending it to a mix engineer, they just do their rough mix with that effect on, so the mix engineer knows what kind of sound they're after. Then remove that, send the stems without that processing, because a good mix engineer, a decent mix engineer even, can recreate that sounds very, very easily and can recreate it in the right way, because the right way is not slapping that distortion pedal on the tubas. It's just distorting specific elements that will give you that kind of aesthetic and that kind of impact without destroying the mix. So there is actually a right and good way to achieve that kind of result. It's done by targeting specific elements or specific ranges of certain elements so that you don't have all the side effects of slapping that on the tubas, and the mix overall is professional still, but it does have that kind of aesthetic. I hope this answered the question. You guys have more, leave it in the comment down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time.
Bleed on repeat.